All right, everybody, welcome to Deep Nonsense, the podcast where we take the wildest ideas from movies and ask the big question, could it actually happen? Today, we're diving into the sugar-coated kaleidoscope world of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Figure out one of its most delicious mysteries, the Everlasting Gobstopper. A candy that never loses its flavor. It never shrinks. It never disappears. It's the ultimate in confectionery perfection and probably a dentist's worst nightmare. But is it actually possible to make a candy that never wears out? Now, let's find out. We tapped into Google Gemini's deep research to look at food science, material engineering, and a little bit of chemistry to see if Wonka's magical creation could ever be real. Is there some secret formula out there, or is this just another sweet dream cooked up by Hollywood? Grab your golden ticket and join us as we unwrap the science behind the eternal candy and whether it could really exist. You ready to get into it?
Let's do this. Although, before we start, can we just say, Pure Imagination is the song at the beginning of the film, which, by the way, Roald Dahl was not a fan of the film. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did know that.
He was not a fan of the film. He said that they shifted the focus too much on to Willy Wonka. It was supposed to be more about Charlie.
But hence the title.
I think I think that was a pointer. But Pure Imagination at the very beginning there with the creepy Candyman that sings. Can we all just admit that's a little disturbing?
Oh, the Candyman. He's like
the Candyman can, right?
Come
that
children.
was the song. The Candyman can. That's what it was.
I'll give you all the candy you want. Nobody's exchanging money at all.
What all. And he's just got this shop full of children. It was a little disturbing for me, but I have to admit that if we're exploring the Everlasting Gobstopper, it's a great way to keep kids where you want them. So there you go.
I guess it just seems stupid to me because you sell a kid a candy that never ends. They buy one piece of candy and then what do? You don't buy. It's you got to have planned obsolescence with your candy.
How is that good for business? It's not. All right. Well, host number one, are you ready for this?
I am. You know that we're talking about the oh my gosh. We're talking about the Everlasting Gobstopper, right? The magical candy from Willy Wonka.
The one that just never ends.
Yeah, that one. Well, I got a bunch of stuff about the science behind it, and I thought it would be fun to kind of take a deep dive into whether or not that could actually exist.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's think about it. It's a pretty fascinating question. How can a candy last forever? Makes you think about why normal candy doesn't, right? Why does it disappear?
I mean, exactly. It's like regular hard candy. You pop it in your mouth and it's just like gone in a few minutes.
Yeah, and the stuff you sent explains it like this. It's because of a principle of like dissolves like.
Yeah,
like. I mean, what's that?
Well,
like dissolves like? What is that?
Like dissolves like. So it's like things that are sugary, like sucrose in hard candies, they're like attracted to water. So it's like if it's soluble in water, I guess water will dissolve it. I mean, that's basically the first hurdle to overcome if you want a candy that never disappears, right? Because you got all that water in your spit.
All right, I buy that. So it's a constant battle against your spit, and the material also talks about chewing gum, which is interesting because the base of the gum is kind of like, did they say oil?
Yeah, it's something like it's a chemistry term, like non-polar means it doesn't mix with water.
Okay, and that's why something. Okay, you have to answer me this. That's why something like chocolate, which is also kind of oily, can actually dissolve gum.
Yeah, I think it'd be like the opposite. Non-polar dissolves non-polar, which is
Are we back to the like thing again?
I think it's like dissolves like. It's the same thing. Yeah.
So it's like okay. So it's like as you say, it's like the opposite. Non-polar dissolves non-polar.
Exactly, which is why you got to think. Okay, if you want an everlasting gobstopper, you probably need a base that saliva isn't attracted to at all. So there was also something about the structure of the candy, right? Like how dense it is.
Okay, so the denser it is and the fewer little holes and cracks it has, this is where we're going, the less surface area there is for saliva to attack, I guess. You know, the material even mentions that maybe air bubbles in regular candy are part of the reason they dissolve so fast.
That's interesting. So like more bubbles equals more surface area, which is a faster melt.
Yes. Okay, here. So we figure out the never ending part, right? We've got less surface area. We've got like dissolves like. We know that saliva apparently is very attractive. So you have to find something that's not attracted to it. What about flavor? I mean, we taste, what do we taste? We taste sweet, sour, those basic things with our tongues. But the real complexity of flavor comes from what? Our noses. Our noses pick it up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So all those aromatic compounds. And in candy, the flavors are usually mixed right into the hot sugar mixture when they make it, you know? So hard candies will release their flavors slowly as they dissolve, unlike, say, a gummy bear. When you bite into it, it's all boom, all the flavor right away.
That's why I like extra strength Tylenol because it releases over a period of time. Right, right.
So, okay, back on track. So if our gobstopper doesn't dissolve, how do we get a constant flavor? I mean, the material suggested a couple of things. Well, it would have to be something that doesn't rely on dissolving, right? So
Right.
maybe it like slowly releases the flavor somehow, like a controlled leak, maybe like your Tylenol.
Mm. I don't know. What is the flavor like an encapsulation sort of thing? Is that
Oh,
what is that what that is?
yeah, it said something about encapsulation. It's where you basically trap the flavor molecules in these tiny little shells that release their contents over time. Now that could be interesting. Okay, so all right, let's get to the real challenge here. How do you
Okay,
make
the real
something
challenge.
edible that basically just doesn't dissolve?
Well, okay, so what you mentioned before, there was something you mentioned earlier when we were talking. You called them edible polymers.
Yeah, polymers. They're basically these long chains of molecules. And the material says it turns out some of them are not very soluble in water at all, which is kind of what we want, right? Like some of the examples were these films made from certain starches and protein stuff that resists water way better than your average starch.
Okay, so we've got polymers, but then there's also I remember seeing these edible waxes.
Yeah, the waxes are fascinating because they actually repel water. Like they're used to coat some foods. It's kind of like edible packaging. Like you know how rice paper has some water resistance?
Right,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
So there's actually a patent out there for hard candy that uses less sweet starch that's supposed to make it more resistant to moisture, though not completely everlasting, of course.
I mean, that's where we're trying to get, right? We're trying to get to the everlasting part. It's like all these things are baby steps. But
Right.
I think to really get to the never-ending flavor part without dissolving, you've got to look at the encapsulation idea. Let's look at that.
Right. So like little flavor time capsules. And there
Like, did they time travel? Is that what they do?
I don't know. There was
That's a
just
different episode, right?
so many different methods for doing all that in the material we looked through. Like from simple stuff like spray drying to some really complex techniques, a lot that are like there for just a little extra shelf life. Some that could last a lot longer than others. So it's really weird.
I always knew that the government had a lot of control, but I think it's absolutely amazing how much control they have over flavor now.
Right. Like not just protecting it, but choosing how and when it's released, right?
Yeah, like the government does to us.
Yes.
Anyway, look, even the stuff that we talked about, okay, these tiny capsules, which I think they said something about them being different layers that release flavor in stages, which is, I mean, if you think about it, that's so gobstopper, right?
Totally. I mean, do you think we could actually do it? Could we really make an everlasting gobstopper?
This is going to blow your minds, folks, but the material does point out some pretty big challenges, huge challenges, in fact. I mean, for one, sugar just loves water, and what are our mouths full of? They're full of attractive water called saliva.
That is very, very true.
So here's the deal. There's a big one to get around, which is that. And then the other question is, how do you find something that doesn't dissolve but still tastes good?
Right, good point. And then, over time, even flavor compounds break down, right? I mean, nothing lasts forever.
It's true. It's true. And think about it. Would we even want a candy that never changed? I mean, part of the fun of a gobstopper is how the flavor evolves, right?
Well, that's true. It wouldn't be exciting if it was just the same flavor forever. It's like that the scientist from the one candy company, Ferrara Pan. What did he say? Um,
Oh, they make jawbusters, don't they? Jawbusters. It's kind of like gobstoppers. He said that a candy that never ends just wouldn't work because the dissolving is part of the experience.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it'd be like just putting a marble in your mouth. It's just like, do you really want to just carry around a marble in your mouth for a year? It's like, ooh, I
Why?
have a glass flavored candy. I don't know. The future is a
Why do
wild
you say that
place.
as though it's something you've tried?
Don't worry about it. I was just gonna say the future is a wild place. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll discover a whole new kind of sweetener that doesn't dissolve at all, or heck, maybe they don't even have to have it be a sweet candy. I mean, who wants to hear wood flavored candy or glass
Well,
flavored candy?
I like how you
I
go.
don't know.
I like how you go from food to non-food at all. Well, that wouldn't be dissimilar from the Jetsons. Remember how Rosie used to make dinner? She would just put something in there and pop water on it, and suddenly you have a turkey.
No,
Maybe
yeah.
it's like that, which they did in the Willy Wonka movie. He said it's a Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh,
Well,
that's right.
yeah, he did, right? So, I mean, well, here's another. We all know that. I mean, because all of us here read the science journals, we all know that nanotechnology could give us that super precise flavor release. They're working on it now. There was even an idea for a candy that's made of tons of super thin layers that erode one by one, each with a different flavor. So, right, you start with your aperitif and you go through there. It's like an onion, but with flavor. Well, an onion does have flavor, not the kind of flavor I like. Besides, I cry too easily.
Onion candy. Sounds awesome. I mean, that is pretty cool. I mean, even if we do make a truly everlasting candy, the question is, should we? I mean, the changing flavors, the dissolving, that's part of what makes it special, right? Plus, you don't want to make an everlasting candy because then nobody buys another one. That just seems dumb, right?
I mean, absolutely. I think from a business model standpoint, that's a surefire failure. I think also, as the scientist from Ferrara Pan said, and as you just mentioned, if you don't have that experience, you lose something in it. It's absolutely the truth.
I think so. And even though a real everlasting gobstopper is still in the realm of fantasy, this whole deep dive really shows you how much science and creativity goes into making candy.
And personally, I think it's amazing when you think about it. And it makes you wonder what other impossible things in the world around us might have these cool hidden scientific explanations. I mean, something to think about, right?
That is true. That's a wrap on today's episode of Deep Nonsense. I hope you enjoyed diving into the science, or lack thereof, behind the everlasting gobstopper. Now look, whether it's catching ghosts, building a cyborg cop, time travel, or creating a never-ending candy, it's always wild to see just how far fiction stretches reality. Now, if you've got a crazy movie concept you want us to break down, hit us up. Leave a comment or send us a message with your ideas. Who knows? Your suggestion might just be the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us keep the nonsense going. Thanks for listening to Deep Nonsense, where we take movie magic and see if it could ever become real. Catch you next time.